Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham Blog and to another episode of Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk. And today is the Tottenham Transfer Roundup for the 13th of January, and we got quite a bit to talk about with regards to potential incomings with Adama Traore and Jesse Lingard, and also potential outgoings with the futures of Tanguy Ndombele and Stephen Bergwijn looking increasingly likely to be away from North London. Before we do dive into that, if you are new to the channel, my name is Matt. I'm a senior soccer analyst for Opta and Stats Perform, and we're going to be diving into all of these transfer rumours and more in what is really turning out to be a busy window without much happening in a weird roundabout way. Do make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new as well, and hit the like button if you are enjoying these streams this transfer window. And we're going to dive straight into things with updates from Alistair Gold on the meeting between Antonio Conte, Daniel Levy and Fabio Paratici in the last couple of days as they look to strengthen Tottenham's squad this January. And Alistair Gold said, "It is understood that Antonio Conte has been extremely candid in his assessment of the club and his squad during multiple discussions with Chairman Daniel Levy since he arrived, with plenty of home truths delivered publicly and privately about the level Spurs are at." And well, we knew this is what we were going to get with Antonio Conte. We knew this is what we were in for. And to some extent, I do think Tottenham knew this is what they were in for, and they wanted to bring in someone who would challenge them. And while that may not turn out to be good for them, I think it's a different path than what they've taken in the past, and it's one that I'm happy to see them take. But of course, that will quickly change if things don't really go our way. Quickly as well, Killian, Ellie, still standing, Oren, Dara, show me the lights. Good to see you all in the live chat. Thank you very much to all of you for tuning in, and to the 72 people who are here already. Thank you so much for tuning in. Continuing on with that, and one that a quote from Alistair Gold that was really taken out of context, I think, on Twitter today, and one that wasn't followed up with the quote that it should have been. And Alistair Gold said, "The Football.London understands that some of the Tottenham players fear Conte could walk next month if he is not backed with new signings to improve the squad during the remainder of this January transfer window." Now look, that is a concern. That is concerning. There's no doubt there that the players, there are some players within the squad that fear Antonio Conte may quit the job and may just walk away from the club if he's not backed in this January window. There's no doubt that is a concern, but the next line from Alistair Gold I think is crucial, where he says there's little fear within the hierarchy about an imminent departure following the positive meetings between Conte, Paratici, Levy. I'm sure Hitchin would have been involved there as well, and potentially Joe Lewis on the financial side of things. So after those positive meetings, the hierarchy of the club aren't exactly worried that is going to happen. But within the playing squad, there is a feeling that there's a fear that Conte may actually leave the club if he's not back to this window. And we've been getting reports from everywhere and from everyone about who Tottenham want to bring in. And there's a right back, there's a centre back, there's a centre mid, there's a striker, there's this, there's that. Stan, thank you for subscribing. But there's so much that Antonio Conte wants. And look, it's quite obvious to say that it's not going to happen this January. The squad isn't going to be fixed. It's as simple as that. But the fear is there within the playing squad, and I think that's one that we may have to take notice of, but I don't think it's one to be immediately terrified with, if that makes sense. Tony and Christopher, channel members, thank you so much to the two of you for tuning in. Para Miguel as well says, "Evening Matty Hayes Romano," and Cody says, "Idiotic not to back this manager. This club will capitulate if they mess Conte's appointment up." And I fully agree. I do agree with that one. Alistair Gold has continued to say, the feeling within Tottenham was that Conte's squad was in need of a new striker, right wing back and a left-sided centre-back. The Italian is understood to have agreed with that assessment, but also wants a new central midfielder to add to his options. So a lot of positions being added to this list with every day that passes, which isn't really surprising. I mean, we saw what happened last night against Chelsea. We saw what happened last week against Chelsea. We saw how we struggled against Morecambe in the FA Cup, and Conte himself has been speaking about that, and he said, "When we lose 1, 2, 3 players in the starting 11, we are a bit in trouble. I don't know if we are able to recover players for Arsenal." So he's talking about needing depth in that squad. I think there's another quote where he said, "You need 2 players in every position." He said, "Especially in this league, because the level is very high and you have to play a lot of games. If you want to have ambition, you have to have 2 players in every role." And at the moment, Tottenham don't really have one for every role. We don't have that right wing back. We don't have that progressive centre midfielder. We don't have, I think, a left centre back who's going to carry us forward long term, because Davis isn't going to last there. Martin John, thank you for subscribing. So Conte, as Alistair Gold said, is publicly and privately talking about the holes in the squad and what needs to be addressed this window. With regards to finances and what may be available, Matt Law has said the funds at Tottenham are limited this January, and the club may be forced to look at loans and players at the end of their contracts. And our 2 main targets in Adama Traore and Jesse Lingard both fit into those categories, as we'll discuss a little bit later. Telegraph Sports say currently available money is in limited supply at Tottenham. As I had the same report that they may be forced to look at loans and players at the end of their contracts. Sammy Mokbel has said that Antonio Conte has warned Daniel Levy that Tottenham must spend in January. He has asked for Traore and 2 attackers, and Dan Kilpatrick has also said that Conte says Tottenham must sign another centre forward at a similar level to Harry Kane if they want to compete for silverware, which is going to be a very, very difficult player to find. But if anyone's going to, let's hope it's Fabio Paratici and Antonio Conte. Before we talk about a few potential outgoings, as Adam Phillip there mentions in the live chat, Hugo Lloris and Alistair Gold has said that Hugo Lloris, his new contract is expected to be finalised very soon, with the keeper keen to stay at the club. And we've heard quotes from Antonio Conte the whole way through that Lloris is keen to extend his stay, and the Tottenham want to keep him as well. Charlie Eccleshare has said that despite interest from Rennes and Nice in France, Lloris is keen to sign that new contract. The captain is really enjoying working with Antonio Conte. And for the first time, we've kind of had some positive reports from France with Tottenham and their new contract, as L'Equipe have said that Tottenham are now expected to push more strongly for a Hugo Lloris contract extension. The goalkeeper wants to stay at the club. And I know a lot of people are worried about the absence of the French keeper in the game last night against Chelsea, and Antonio Conte, according to Jonathan Veal, said that Galini deserved a chance in a big game after playing in the cup competitions before his arrival. There's no niggle or injury for Lloris. He is rested ahead of an important run of league games, which of course starts with that North London derby against Arsenal on Sunday. So we can't read too much into that. Lloris being left out of the team last night. He was on the bench. Galini deserved the start according to the manager, and that seems to be that. One player who didn't deserve a start or didn't even deserve to be on the bench is Tanguy Ndombele, which is massively unsurprising following his showing against Morecambe on Sunday, where he was booed off the pitch by Tottenham fans and walked slower in an aggravating manner and went straight down the tunnel. And there's quite a bit to talk about with him. First of all, Dan Kilpatrick says Antonio Conte dropped Tottenham's record signing Tanguy Ndombele for last night's defeat to Chelsea, following talks with managing director Fabio Paratici, as the club attempts to offload the midfielder this month. And I think that's very well known. It's almost, I know it's only reports, but it's almost fact that Tottenham are looking for a club to sign the midfielder this window. The majority of the interest seems to be coming from Italy, but the reports in the last couple of days aren't exactly positive there. Alfredo Padula, who famously was the first man to report Conte to Tottenham back in October, he said that Napoli, who are widely rumoured to be interested, do not want to sign Ndombele due to his heavy wages. Tottenham are offering the player to everyone, but he currently earns £10 million a year, which is absolutely absurd. And Football Italia have said something similar. They say that no Serie A teams are willing to sign Ndombele due to his £200,000 a week salary. It's so much money for a player who does absolutely nothing. And it'll be very, very surprising if any team is willing to pay that. And L'Equipe say the same thing. They say Ndombele's loan departure from Spurs this January has 2 big obstacles. Either Ndombele takes a pay cut or Daniel Levy generously pays a percentage of his wages. I can't see that happening, to be honest. I can't see Daniel Levy paying any money for a player of another team. But if that may be one of the very few ways that we can actually get the player off our books and out of the squad. So at the moment, I wouldn't say it's likely that we can find that move for him, but I'm hoping that is incorrect. Brad Matthews with the £5 super chat. Brad, absolute legend. Thank you so much for that. Says big up, Matty. Hope you're well. I'm absolutely fantastic. I hope you're good as well, Brad. Says fed up with Spurs being interested in players. I'm interested in Jenna Coleman, but no, it will never happen. Well, look, at least you know that'll never happen. First of all, but yeah, I think it's easy to get drawn into the wording of all these reports, and Tottenham are interested in, or Tottenham are considering making a move for. And what I would say to that is I've been lucky enough to kind of get some information of things that are going on behind the scenes, and I publish some of it, some that I can't, because protecting the sources and all that. And some of these reports that I'm seeing that Tottenham are interested in these players, it is actually Tottenham actively trying to get the player, but what a journalist needs to make sure that what they're saying isn't can't be disproven or can't be I can't really think of the way I'm going to say it, but if they come out and say, oh, Tottenham are making a move for this player, and no other journalist says it, nothing really happens with that move, well, we as readers will immediately assume that's just incorrect. Whereas we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, and the journalists need to make sure they're not putting themselves out in the line for something that may not end up being publicised, if that makes sense. But I understand, and I do share the frustration with how Tottenham aren't really doing too much business at the moment. And it's easy to get drawn into Newcastle and Aston Villa and what they're getting done, but I'd also say look at the other 17 clubs in the Premier League aside from us, and we're kind of on a similar wavelength to them at the moment. But yeah, look, Brad, thanks for the super chat. I do agree with the frustration there. A few other reports on Ndombele. Julian Maynard has said that Roma boss Jose Mourinho has spoken with Tanguy Ndombele on the phone about a possible loan move. Napoli are currently also in active talks. Santi Auna says Ndombele is of great interest to Napoli, who would like to loan him this January. Spurs are open to proposals. And Calcio Mercato, who again I would say take with not even a pinch of salt. You know, when you go to pour the salt and the lid falls off and it all goes into your food, that's how much salt you need. Roma are closely following Tanguy Ndombele. Tottenham are offering him around as just a straight loan, but Fabio Paratici is also looking for solutions with a loan and obligation to buy. So Ndombele at the moment looks like it'll be very difficult to get him off the books, but Tottenham are actively trying to do so. So hopefully they can sort something out before the 2nd of February, I think it is, when the window closes. Now, Steven Bergwijn, one player who it does look like will be leaving Tottenham in the coming week or so. The Telegraph, who've been on top of this move right from day one, say that Tottenham and Ajax are both hopeful that an agreement will be reached to sell Steven Bergwijn, and I think Bergwijn is one of the first players that Conte identified as one that he wanted out of his squad for a reason that I'm not really sure of, because I know his performance isn't always at the top level, but he's a player that he'll always try, you know, and I think that's what we need in our squad at the moment. While that the quality is missing, I mean, if there's any player that I've seen play at Tottenham in the last couple of years that I could have had on that pitch last night against Chelsea, it would have been Eric Lamela. And we know that the talent wasn't always there, but yeah, I think Bergwijn, I think his fate was sealed when Conte put pen to paper in that deal back on the 1st of November, but it looks like that would be done. Fabrizio Romano has said that, as we've known all along, this move for Bergwijn to Ajax depended on them selling David Neres, and Fabrizio Romano has said David Neres set to join Shakhtar Donetsk on a permanent move, done deal confirmed. Paperwork's to be prepared now after agreement reached between Ajax and Shakhtar for 16 to 17 million euro, and he then said Ajax will push on Steven Bergwijn as a new winger. Spurs want more than 15 million euro. So that's part one of this deal done. We're in part two now as Ajax try and get that deal closed. Evening Standard claiming that Tottenham actually want a bit more than what Fabrizio Romano has said. They said that Tottenham want close to £27 million for Steven Bergwijn and a replacement signed before selling him this month. Ajax are expected to return with an improved offer. So Tottenham may be wanting a replacement before they actually let Bergwijn go. Hopefully there's something going on behind the scenes, because with the two clubs being hopeful that this can get done, maybe we're in a good position to sign a player behind the scenes. I wouldn't get too excited by that, but I think demanding £27 million is shocking. Is way too much. It's more than we paid for the player, and his stocks have certainly dropped since then. But that's what the Evening Standard is saying. And two sources that I wouldn't really trust in any way. Ekram Koner says Ajax will make a second offer of £20 million for Steven Bergwijn. And Pedro Almeida says Tottenham is ready to accept the offer from Ajax for Steven Bergwijn. 6 months loan with a buy obligation. Let's see what happens. A few other players. Joe Rodon, to touch on quickly. Alistair Gold has said that Joe Rodon was set to leave this window either on loan or permanently, but as of yet the club is still to receive interest from a Premier League club for his services. And Pape Matar Sarr, the midfielder, of course, on loan at FC Metz, Rahman Osman, have said that Antonio Conte and his coaching team are monitoring Sarr, who is currently on AFCON duty. The idea is to eventually keep him at Tottenham to prioritise his development. So Rahman Osman saying that there hopefully will not be another loan for Sarr next season, but he will be staying at Tottenham to continue his development. On to incomings, and as always, I think it'll be the case for quite a while. We're going to start on Adama Traore. And Matt Law has said that Tottenham are hoping to convince Wolves to allow Adama Traore to join on loan with an obligation to buy, but if they might be forced to pay up if they want him this month. And the immediate frustration from that came out on Twitter, and again, I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but fans getting annoyed that it's we're going with a loan obligation to buy. We're going with a more complicated deal. We're not trying to get the deal done now, and this and that, and Wolves may not be keen to loan. But for me, the simple way of looking at this is we're getting that deal done where we're going to have to pay Wolves at a time when we know we're going to have more money available in the summer, and it's freeing up more money for this month because we need to get players in this month if we want to get through to Champions League football. To be able to have a better summer, we need signings in now, and by getting Adama on a loan with an obligation to buy where the bulk of the funds will be moved to the summer, I think that's a smarter deal. However, as the absolute legend that is Brian Daigle pointed out to me, I was talking to him on WhatsApp yesterday, he said, well, we still have to sign Christian Romero in the summer. We still have £50 million to pay in that deal. And if we're putting Adama and Romero both back to next summer, that's 70 million gone already. Who knows? But I think that before remembering Romero, it seemed a clever deal. I'm not too sure at the moment. Paul Markey with a €5 super chat. Paul, another absolute legend and a huge supporter of the channel, as well as Brad. So thank you for that. Says, fact, we are in for second raters while Woolwich are strengthening. We are in big trouble. Yeah, no, I agree with that. We're seeing teams kind of, first of all, targeting better players than us. I don't think Arsenal will get Dusan Vlahovic, but if you're looking at the rumours and the links with the teams around us in the league, it's stronger players that they're looking for. And I think even to start with, they don't have as much work to do in their squad. But yeah, look, I agree with you, Paul. It's worrying. The last thing we need is to be back below Arsenal in the pecking order. But look, on the point of right wing back with Adama Traore and Matt Law, he said Barcelona sources still cannot believe Tottenham offered to pay 25.8 million for Emerson Royal. Make of that what you will. If Barcelona sources are saying that, I think maybe we have had our pants pulled down a little bit, but yeah, let's wait and see how his career at Spurs pans out. Dean Jones has also reported that Chelsea are now interested in signing Adama Traore, but I can't imagine there's much to that. The next player that we have been linked with, and is with regards to a move in the summer, is Jesse Lingard. Alistair Gold tweeted a couple of days ago that Tottenham have made contact with Jesse Lingard's representatives over a potential move to North London. Lingard's versatility means he can play on either flank or in an attacking midfield role, or even as a striker to support Harry Kane if required. He would also bolster Tottenham's homegrown British numbers. Now, Lingard isn't a terrible signing. He's not a particularly great signing, but I don't think he's one that we should turn our noses up at, as we would have done and as we did 12, 18 months ago. Because he went to West Ham last season, he got some time on the pitch and he was really, really good. And the simple fact of the matter is we're at a very similar level to West Ham right now. And if he did well for them, there's no reason to say he wouldn't do well for us. He's 29 years of age, which even though I know the whole joke around people calling him a young prospect and he's clearly not, I didn't realise he was that old at 29. But getting him on a Bosman with his contract running out at the end of the season, there'll be a bit of a signing on fee there for him that will absolutely be inflated, as we don't have to pay a transfer fee. But it doesn't sound ridiculous to me, and especially if it is a player that that Conte has identified, that Paratici has identified. I said it about Traore, and I'd say about him that I don't particularly want them. I don't think they're the level of player we should be targeting, but if that's what Conte wants, I've no reason not to trust him. And I said the same on Galini starting ahead of Hugo Lloris last night. Just because I disagree with it doesn't mean that I don't trust Conte, that he knows. I mean, of course he knows better than me. Of course he knows better than every one of us in the chat. But I trust that he does know what he's doing with that. Neville with the 80 rand, the super chat. Thank you very much, Neville. I appreciate that. Says, hey Matt, think we'll be surprised by the end of this window. Any late signings? This is stressful. I think some fans will be pleasantly surprised by the end of this window in terms of us getting in 2-3 signings, as I think we will do. I know it's very easy to lose faith, and it does look as though it will be late signings if we get that done, because again, there's nothing concrete about a move happening now. Even with all the positivity that we're hearing surrounding Adama's potential move to Tottenham, there's nothing concrete. We haven't heard of a bid. We haven't heard of Tottenham really pushing to try and get it done. We're now maybe thinking of changing the structure of that deal. It is stressful. It absolutely is, and I usually enjoy transfer windows more than I'm enjoying this one. I'll say that for nothing. But I think we will be surprised. I think we'll get 2 or 3 signings in. And I hope to God I'm right. If there's more, incredible. I don't think there will be, but I think a lot of fans will be pleasantly surprised. Continuing with Lingard, Sky Sports have said that Tottenham are keen to sign Lingard and have approached his representatives throughout this month, potentially with a view to move this January. Dan Kilpatrick as well has said that Tottenham are prepared to wait until the summer to act on their long-term interest in United's Lingard. They're in the race to sign him as a free agent in June. We've been interested in the forward since Jose Mourinho's time at the club, and he's also revealed that we actually made an approach to sign him whilst Nuno Espirito Santo was manager. So if that happened with Nuno as manager, well, that says to me that it was over this summer. It was 5-6 months ago. So that interest in the player has been consistent. It has been constant, and Paratici continued that in the summer, and he's looking like he's going to continue it on into the rest of this season as well. The Athletic say that Tottenham are interested in signing Lingard on a free transfer when his contract expires this summer, and they're one of 2 people adamant that he is not likely to leave United this month. Samuel Luckhurst of the Manchester Evening News has also said that sources close to Lingard do not expect him to leave Man United this January. Simon Stone, another reporting on this, say Tottenham have spoken to Jesse Lingard's camp regarding a summer move. Lingard ideally doesn't want to leave United this month, but out of contract at the end of the season. And the Daily Mail say that Tottenham have asked about signing Lingard as a free agent in the summer, but he is potentially thinking about a move abroad, so that may not even be an option for us at the moment. Paul, with another €2, again, thank you very much, Paul. It says last night's selection was to show we are a mess. And yeah, look, last night's selection and the performance against Morecambe shows the squad is extremely weak. There's no depth. And I saw some people saying this was a it was a statement from Conte and he's trying to prove a point. I don't think that was it. If he is willing to prove points to the board in a cup semi-final against one of our biggest rivals, I'm not quite sure this is the job for him. But yeah, it's hard not to look at those teams and see Matt Doherty playing a left wing back for 3 out of the 4 halves. Say it's not good. It's really not good. But Paul, thanks again for the super chat. Pau Torres, one that we spoke about quite a bit over the summer. Fabrizio Romano has said that Tottenham are still monitoring Villarreal defender Pau Torres, who has been on the club's list since January. But in the last couple of days, according to ESPN, Pau Torres has himself said he actually did turn down Tottenham over the summer. And there was a lot of strong rumours about this, and he himself has confirmed it. He said, this summer, my agent told me that there was an important offer from Tottenham. They offered more than what I get paid now. But since I play for my hometown team, only a few players do, I decided to stay where I am happy. And I do think it was Fabrizio Romano who was saying that the whole way through the summer, that Pau Torres wants to play Champions League football with his boyhood club instead of moving to the Premier League for what was a much bigger contract he was being offered. And I respect it. I absolutely respect it. And I wish more players were like that, to be honest. But in the same breath, I wish Pau Torres played for Tottenham. Alistair Gold has said, not on Pau Torres, but on a similar point, says the new left-sided centre-back to provide competition for Ben Davies will be left until the summer unless an unexpected opportunity arises. So if Tottenham are to go back in for Pau Torres, I imagine it will be in the summer because I can't see him moving from Villarreal this window at all. Another couple of centre-backs that I'm surprised we're still talking about, but Gianluca Di Marzio has said that Antonio Rudiger is in talks with Juventus, Man City, Tottenham and PSG. He will join one of those 4 clubs. I said it from day one. I don't want Rudiger at Tottenham. I don't think Rudiger will join Tottenham. It's a nothing story for me, but the rumours are there, so I have to bring him. Sami Mokbel has actually said that Chelsea are set to renew their efforts to tie down Rudiger to a new deal after his £140,000 a week offer was rejected, with the German holding out for closer to £200,000 a week amid free transfer interest from Real Madrid, PSG and Juventus. Dave Heitner has said that Antonio Conte would like to be reunited with Inter Milan centre-back Stefan de Vrij, who I don't think will be moving this January either. On Dusan Vlahovic, Chris Wheatley has said Fabio Paratici boasts a close relationship with Vlahovic's representatives, and sources suggest a deal could be in the pipeline for the Serbian to join Tottenham this summer. And as we've heard quite a bit, that valuation of the player that currently sits at £70 million should drop to about 40 over the summer as the striker moves into the final 12 months of his contract at Fiorentina. One more potential incoming, that is Benjamin Mensah, and Sky Sports have said that Tottenham have made an inquiry for 19-year-old Peterborough youngster Benjamin Mensah. He predominantly plays at right back and right wing back and will be a target for the club's under-23 setup. So not really one for the first team there, but one to take notice of anyway. Only a couple of reports today in the lesser/unknown reliability section. And I never know how to pronounce it. I think it's Fichajes, which is it's actually just Spanish for transfers, which I thought was a pretty stupid name for an outlet. They say Atletico Madrid are preparing a move for Giovanni Lo Celso. His departure from Tottenham is imminent. I don't believe that. RMC Sports say that Tottenham are the latest club to show an interest in signing Stade de Reims striker Hugo Ekitike. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Newcastle that is showing the strongest interest in him, and I think they've been turned off by his £25 million price tag. So if Newcastle are turned off by his price after paying the same money for Chris Wood, I think that's one to stay away from. And Ekrem Koner has said that Tottenham could make an offer to bring Luka Modric back to the club should his renewal with Real Madrid fail. I also think that's a load of crap. A few other pieces of news. Official Tottenham youngster and 17-year-old striker Jamie Donnelly has signed his first professional contract with the club. Another official piece of news is that Tottenham's FA Cup clash with Brighton has been scheduled for Saturday 5th February at 8 p.m. live on ITV4. So just another wait for a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff as always. An interesting one that I saw, Jermaine Defoe is now a free agent following his departure from Rangers, and I would be absolutely delighted if he came back to Tottenham in a coaching capacity. I doubt he's strongly considering retirement at the moment. If he is, I think Tottenham need to be on the phone first thing and try and get him into the club as a coach. With players like Jamie Donnelly, Dane Scarlett coming through the system, I think Jermaine Defoe would be an incredible man to get back into the club and try and make a few more Jermaine Defoes to come through the Tottenham ranks. But that's maybe just a bit hopeful from me rather than any actual reports. And another player that I kind of don't like bringing up because of the past, but Cesar Luis Merlo say that Paulo Dybala has decided not to renew his contract at Juventus, which expires in the summer. So Dybala potentially available for free in the summer. And look, as always, that would mean a very high signing on fee for the player. But is that one that Tottenham could revisit? I don't know, but I'm hoping it is. Let me know your thoughts on that in the live chat. Let me know your thoughts on everything we spoke about as well. Get your comments and questions in. We'll run through a few of those now. While we're waiting for those to come through in the live chat, please do smash that like button. It's absolutely free and it helps us out, every YouTuber, so much. It helps push the stream out to more and more people. We 316 in here live now. We want to get that number up. So please do hit that subscribe button as well if you are new to the channel for more of these updates throughout the window. Brian says Vlahovic has stated that the only Premiership clubs he would join would be Man City and Chelsea. I think there was. I think Tottenham were in that list as well. He wants to work with Antonio Conte. I think that was through Gianluca Di Marzio. But it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't want Tottenham because we're not exactly an enticing club at the moment. Joseph says, any news on Leandro Damião? Unfortunately not. I think maybe we may have to wait till the summer if that one's going to get done. Not one that's particularly likely right now. Weira says, Matt Doken, any high hopes for us Levy won't sign Dybala? I don't think he will. I don't think he will, but the potential is there for that on a free transfer, so I don't know. We have to talk about it, I think. Little big man Ryan, absolute legend in the live chat, says, come on, you Spurs. He's a Newcastle fan, and he even comes in here and he says, come on, you Spurs, to support the stream. Thanks for tuning in, Ryan. Anyone, if you do want to be kept up to date on Newcastle's transfer news, head over to Ryan's channel and subscribe there. He does some brilliant updates on them. I'm sure you can keep up to date with how Kieran Trippier is getting on as he's back in the Premier League, so make sure to go over and subscribe to Ryan's channel. Yassine on Vlahovic says, I simply don't see him choosing Arsenal over Spurs, and I don't either. Like, you could make an argument for Arsenal being on a more upward, a more positive trajectory than Spurs at the moment, but I still don't think they're a more enticing club. They're a more they don't seem to be a more positive option for players who are trying to better their career. Look, I could be wrong. I hope I'm not, and I don't think I am, but it is a possibility. Kane says, Dylan Marcande, new contract. I haven't heard anything on him, but I do know he played incredibly against Man United, the under-23s a few days ago. One of my friends at work who was covering that game, he's a Leeds fan, and he messaged me to say Marcande is absolutely incredible, and that's before he even scored the great goal that he did. So I can't see Marcande leaving anytime soon, but there doesn't seem to be anything in the pipeline for a new contract just yet. Fix NBA says, Matt, did you think we would have a new signing through the door by now? I didn't really, because we never do business in the early stages of the window, but no club really does in January either. And I know, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it's easy to look at Newcastle signing Chris Wood. They've signed Kieran Trippier. Have they made another signing? They might have. You look at Aston Villa getting Philip Coutinho and Luca Digne. You see Everton getting Anwar El Ghazi today. I'm sure there's a few signings I've missed, and it's easy to look at those clubs because they're the ones in the news. They're the ones we're reading about because they're making the signings, but there's 17 other clubs who haven't made any. There's Tottenham plus 17, and I don't think it's fair. I think the board deserve criticism and how they've dealt with transfers in the past, but I don't think it's fair to look at them now and say, oh, but these two teams are getting deals done, so why aren't we? When 85% of the teams in the league aren't getting deals done. So I didn't expect anything by now, and I think it's maybe having the expectations a bit high to be upset that we don't have anything by now, but I'm sure as time goes on, we will make signings this window. I'm very confident in that. Kane says, brilliant goal from Marcande. He needs to be in around the first team. Apparently Celtic are planning a move for him. I haven't heard that, but I hope to God it's wrong. Yassine says, I would also love Eriksen in. He's top quality and he's back to his best now. It only needs a club who's willing to sign him, and we should be that club. I'd love Eriksen back, but I don't think it's a realistic option right now. Conte runs a very, very physically demanding team, and aside from the issues that Eriksen may have with the heart starter, I think it's called, the regulations of the Premier League, if he can actually play, I also think having been 6 months out of football, it's going to take a lot to get to the physical level that we need him, and maybe then we could probably wait till the summer and get a more an option that fits better, really, an option of a player that is better. And while I can say I would like Eriksen back at his prime, we do need to remember his last 2 years at the club when he really wasn't that good. He couldn't be the first man in a corner. He went 2.5 years without scoring a free kick. I don't think that's one that is a really good option for us right now. But look, there's 344 people watching live right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my link, the link to my Twitter channel or Twitter page in the live chat. And please, if you don't follow me, do go over there and do so. We're on just over 5,500 followers over there, so we're trying to build that as well. And I don't have the stream open to pop a link in. I'll do that immediately. We're obviously chatting a lot more regularly about Spurs on there, and a lot more about transfers, and so another way to keep up with my thoughts on Tottenham and the latest transfer rumours. So please do go over and follow me there. We're also going to be live at 8 o'clock. So I'm actually back on in about half an hour. I'm going to be joined by Caller, HG and John from the Cheese Room podcast. I'm sure a lot of you watch them. So please do tune back in at 8 o'clock. There's a lot more content to come on the channel for you tonight. I can assure you it's going to be a very, very good show. I always love going on the Cheese Room podcast with the lads. So it's bound to be a great discussion here. So please do tune back in for that. And if my PC would load here, I'm going to put my link to Twitter there. It's just in the live chat, so please do go over and follow me there. Martin says would like to see Jay Lings join Spurs, even though it would hurt my soul. I think he would suit a Conte style. That's coming from a United fan. Thanks for tuning in, first of all, Martin. Great to see you. And look, I admire that, a player that isn't really getting the game time at United. I think he'd suit a Conte style, get some game time in the Premier League and potentially challenge United for top 4. Who knows? Hopefully if it does happen, it's a good one for Spurs. But like I said earlier, I don't really hold out hope that it would be the best move Spurs could make this window. But everyone, please do go over, follow me on Twitter, like and subscribe on this channel if you haven't already. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.